What is up, guys? I am the one and only Eagle Double T, and in this video I am going to be comparing the Sony DualShock 4 to the DualShock 2. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, these two controllers are widely considered Sony's best controllers that they've ever made. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the comfort. Now, the DualShock 4, it's a pretty big improvement compared to the DualShock 2. They did a few things right, and they did a few things wrong compared to the DualShock 2. But in my opinion, one of the things that they did much better was the comfort. This controller, I can use it for quite a long time without my hands getting cramped. It feels a lot more rounded out, and it just feels a lot better in the hand compared to the DualShock 2. Now, the DualShock 2 is much, much smaller, and it really doesn't even fit my hands at all. I mean, it's usable, but it feels a lot more boxy and kind of like unevolved compared to the DualShock 4, I kind of want to say. So in terms of comfort, I would say the DualShock 4 definitely wins. Now let's talk about the features. The DualShock 2, I really can't think of any features that it has compared to the DualShock 4. It does have the analog button, which, I mean, it doesn't really do a whole lot, but it's there. And then the controller is corded, and it does have a pretty thick and durable cord, so I mean, that's good. But I wouldn't really consider that a feature, other than the fact that it never runs out of battery life, because the DualShock 4 doesn't have very good battery life at all. The DualShock 4, it definitely blows out of the water in terms of features, because the DualShock 2 really doesn't have any. The DualShock 4 has a speaker, which that's one thing that I really liked about this controller compared to the Xbox One controller, is that this controller has a speaker in it, and it has a pretty cool touchpad, and it's kind of nice because they didn't just leave this space open and have nothing there. They put a touchpad in it and really utilized the controller. It also has a pretty useless light bar that doesn't really do anything, and I'm pretty sure no one likes. And it also charges through micro USB, which is also nice. So, in terms of features, if that's even really a category to you guys, then the DualShock 4 definitely wins. Now let's talk about the quality of the buttons and the joysticks and the D-pad, etc. On the DualShock 2, it does have the buttons that, I do like these buttons over the DualShock 4s, because you probably can't really see it on camera, but the DualShock 2's buttons are a little bit higher than the DualShock 4's, so I kind of like the buttons a little bit better. I definitely like the bumpers on the DualShock 2 better than on the DualShock 4. I really don't like them on the DualShock 4 that much. And then the triggers, I'm kind of split. These are more buttons than triggers on the DualShock 2, but they do perform somewhat good. And then on the DualShock 4, it does have triggers, and I do prefer triggers. However, they're not, like, super high quality. So when it comes down to that, I just say whatever you guys think. Personal preference to you guys. The joysticks on the DualShock 2, I do like them better. They have a larger radius. They are much grippier. However, they kind of grind, and they don't do that on the DualShock 4. So, I mean, that's good. The D-pad on the DualShock 4 is considerably, by a lot, better than the DualShock 2. The DualShock 2's, it isn't awful, but it's pretty much basically just another 4 buttons, except much closer together. And this is kind of what they threw together and considered a D-pad. It's much nicer on the DualShock 4. It's a lot more precise, and it just feels much nicer. The DualShock 4 also has a share and options button along with the touchpad and the PlayStation Home button. And on the DualShock 2, it has these really flimsy rubber buttons that you would find on, like, a TV remote from the 80s. So, not impressed with that at all. I don't like them on the DualShock 4 either that much, because they are really small and pretty much completely flat with the controller. But they're definitely much nicer on the DualShock 4. So when it comes to the buttons and the joysticks and all that stuff, I would pretty much call it a tie because I like the D-pad and the touchpad, and I kind of like the triggers a little bit better on the DualShock 4. However, the DualShock 2, I think, has better joysticks, bumpers, and buttons. So I'd say it's a tie. And last, but certainly not least, we have build quality. Because you want your controller to last more than 5 minutes while you're gaming. With the DualShock 2, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It creaks, it squeaks, it feels light. Now, I'm not saying that a light controller has bad build quality. I mean, look at the Wii U Pro controller. It's built fairly well, and it's pretty light. But a controller should never make that sound when the joystick moves. Like, that's really bad. But, I mean, if I threw this at a wall, it would probably survive intact perfectly fine. But it's just not built nearly as well as, say, for example, the DualShock 4. It doesn't really squeak or anything. However, my main concern with the build quality is the triggers, because they're really sticky and they get like stuck a lot. But other than that, the DualShock 4 definitely seems built a lot better than the DualShock 2. And I would definitely rather throw the DualShock 4 to wall. And just for the record, I have broken 3 Xbox 360 controllers from throwing them at my wall and smashing them with 10-pound dumbbells when I get angry. I would definitely rather throw the DualShock 4 to wall than a DualShock 2. So there you have it, folks, the DualShock 4 versus the DualShock 2. I would say in the end, the DualShock 4 is the clear winner. It's just such a big step up compared to the DualShock 2. I mean, look at them. I mean, the DualShock 4 looks a lot more refined. It's a lot newer. It's more high-tech. So, I would definitely say the DualShock 4 is better. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that button that is in the shape of a thumb underneath the video and leave a like, and that